August 6, 1945. In just 16 seconds, the city of Hiroshima ceases to exist. Japan's military leadership receives the initial reports and falls into stunned silence. A single city, obliterated by one weapon, 70,000 lives extinguished in an instant. They had received warnings about an extraordinary new bomb, but dismissed them as American psychological warfare. Now their generals examine aerial photographs showing only ashes and emptiness where a vibrant city once stood. The conversations in that secure room would alter the nature of conflict for all time. And their recorded words expose a deeply unsettling truth about what genuinely terrified them. The morning that transformed warfare forever. August 6, 1945. 8:15 a.m. Hiroshima thrives with morning activity. Commuters journey to workplaces, children walk towards schools, factories buzz with production. Then the heavens tear apart. A lone B-29 bomber crosses the sky. Just one aircraft. Japanese air defense systems remain silent. A single plane doesn't warrant alarm signals. But this aircraft carries something humanity has never witnessed before. A weapon weighing 9,000 pounds, bearing the informal name Little Boy. Precisely 8:16 a.m., existence pauses. A light burst brighter than 1,000 suns, then absolute quiet, then a destructive wave that levels 4 square miles within seconds. 70,000 human beings disappear immediately, transformed into permanent shadows burned onto concrete surfaces. By 9 a.m., Tokyo's high command receives the first fragmented reports. Something beyond comprehension has occurred. One bomb, one city, erased from existence. Yet here emerges the unexpected response. The military leaders initially refuse to believe the accounts. They assume exaggeration, potential errors in communication. What they learn next would shake them more profoundly than the explosion itself. The urgent gathering convenes within hours. Japan's military leadership summons an emergency session. The room fills with generals, admirals, and government ministers. Maps cover tables. Cigarette smokes cloud the air. Voices rise in overlapping arguments. General Yoshijiro Umezu slams reconnaissance photographs onto the table's surface. Where Hiroshima previously stood, now only smoke, ashes, and devastation stretching across miles appears. Not even their most destructive firebombing campaigns had created this scale of ruin. Yet here lies the remarkable aspect. The generals don't descend into panic. They begin calculating, analyzing, approaching this catastrophe as another military problem to solve. Admiral Soemu Toyoda voices the prevailing sentiment. One bomb cannot defeat an empire. They had endured years of warfare. Tokyo had survived firebombing attacks. 67 other cities had been struck. They had withstood everything America launched against them. Why should this be different? General Korechika Anami, the war minister, rises. His expression shows no emotion. He represents the uncompromising faction, the man who consistently opposes surrender. What he says next reveals the military's chilling rationale. The mathematics of mortality. Anami's words emerge cold and precise. We must determine whether America possesses additional such weapons. That constitutes their entire response to 70,000 deaths. Not mourning, not horror, pure calculation. The Japanese military had developed Operation Ketsugo, the final defensive plan. They stood prepared to sacrifice millions of civilians defending their homeland. Every citizen, men, women, children, would fight using bamboo spears if required. One destroyed city didn't alter that equation. But dozens of such bombs? That represented different arithmetic. Intelligence officers scrambled to answer Anami's crucial question. How many atomic weapons does America possess? Can they manufacture more? How rapidly? No certain answers exist. American forces had dropped leaflets warning about a terrible new weapon. High Command had dismissed these as propaganda, additional psychological warfare tactics. They had ignored numerous warnings before. Now those warnings appeared frighteningly accurate. Yet the generals still refused to surrender, and their reasoning exposes disturbing aspects of military mentality. The honor principle. Japanese military culture operates on Bushido, the warrior's code. Surrender signifies disgrace. Shame represents something worse than death. For these generals, losing the war remains acceptable. Military defeat proves acceptable. But capitulation, quitting, that becomes unthinkable. It would dishonor their ancestors, their emperor, their entire nation. So they continue fighting. Even after Hiroshima, they convince themselves the situation remains manageable. America possesses only one bomb, possibly two. They can endure. They can adapt. Prime Minister Kantaro Suzuki desires peace negotiations. Emperor Hirohito expresses concern, but the military ministers control decisions and they reject surrender. Here emerges the chilling reality. Intercepted communications reveal American commanders waiting patiently. They have a second bomb prepared. They simply await confirmation whether Hiroshima produced the intended effect. August 7th passes. Silence from Tokyo. August 8th passes. Still no surrender. America interprets this as defiance, as evidence that one bomb proves insufficient. So they prepared the second weapon. But Tokyo's leadership doesn't comprehend what approaches until too late. Nagasaki, August 9th, 1945. 3 days following Hiroshima. Another B-29 takes flight. This bomb differs, more powerful. Its informal name, Fat Man. The primary target becomes Kokura, but cloud cover obscures the city. The aircraft circles, waits, fuel running low. They select the secondary target instead, Nagasaki. 11:02 a.m., the second atomic bomb detonates. 40,000 additional people die instantly. Tokyo receives the news by the afternoon. Now denial becomes impossible. America possesses multiple bombs. They can continue this pattern, city after city after city. The emergency meeting reconvenes. The atmosphere has transformed, quieter, more tense. The generals understand what they confront, yet even now, with 2 cities destroyed, the hardliners refuse to yield. Anami still advocates continuing the war. We can negotiate better terms through prolonged resistance. The military remains deadlocked, evenly divided. That's when someone does something unprecedented in over 1,000 years of Japanese history. The emperor speaks. Emperor Hirohito breaks established protocol. Japanese emperors never intervene directly in government decisions. They function as divine figures above politics. They observe, they approve, but they don't decide. Not this time. Hirohito convenes an imperial conference. He listens to both sides debate. The hardliners demand continued fighting. The peace faction pleads for surrender. At 2 a.m. on August 10th, Hirohito speaks. His voice remains soft, measured, but his words cut through all arguments. I cannot endure seeing my innocent people suffer longer. This proves unprecedented, shocking. The emperor has overruled his military, chosen surrender. Yet here emerges the twist. Even after the emperor speaks, certain generals still refuse. War Minister Anami leaves the meeting in tears, not because Japan lost, but because they surrender before fighting until the last person. Some junior officers plot a coup to prevent the surrender broadcast. What General Anami does next would define his legacy and reveal the impossible situation these men faced. The final statements. August 14th, Japan agrees to surrender. American aircraft drop leaflets explaining the terms. Radio broadcasts prepare the nation. For most Japanese citizens, this marks the first time they learn their nation has lost the war. General Anami faces an impossible decision. He led the faction advocating continued resistance. His personal code demands he resist, but the emperor has spoken. Disobeying the emperor also proves unthinkable. He composes a final declaration. Believing firmly that our sacred land shall never perish, I, with my death, humbly apologize to the emperor for the great crime. Then he commits seppuku, ritual suicide. His death requires 14 hours. He refuses assistance, refuses to